Hello. I was in the very first class ever when this lit. I mean, this represents school. So let's be clear. There was a burning fire in this house before school, but I was part of the 36, and we didn't. I just want to be honest. We didn't know anything. We signed up for the potential, for the possibility, for the maybe of 36 people could change the world. And it's incredible to look back on that journey. And I would love to tell you that I spent, back in the day, we just had 2 years of school. There was no third year. And today you're going to hear from the exceptional leaders that we get to lead with and all the personalities. And I would love to tell you that I spent a year in school just soaking in the presence of the Lord, just the flame dancing around me. And but that wouldn't be honest. I went to school, part of the 36, out of a place of a bit of hurt, a bit of pain, I didn't know what else to do, and I just felt a little nudge, and I wish I could say the Lord woke me up and spoke to me. He did not. I heard about school starting, and maybe a month before it actually kicked off, I think I should go. And so I went to school, and I went scared. I went afraid. I went trying to hide. I went with the goal of I could be in this school. I don't know what I was thinking, but I thought I could be in this school full of 36 people and no one would see me. This was my goal of first year, that no one would see me. And the Lord had other plans for every student there, but the first year was incredible. The first year was a do and teach year, and we would have things on the schedule, and the Lord would show up first, and it would happen in the room, and then we would learn about it. And you didn't know what to expect. Every day was crazy. And as I share this story, I just need you to know the school has gotten, I think, better and more amazing. So this was the start. This was the inception. I remember days. I remember the day Chris was going to teach on Deliverance. I remember that day. That day is fresh in my memory. Deliverance Day. I remember he was going to teach on it. And we would worship every day, and the school is built on that, and we still do that. In all the years, we worship every time we get together. And I remember worshiping, and out of worship, there was an amazing person in our environment out of the 36 of us, and something began to happen. And this person began to do things. And Chris said, "It's Deliverance Day. Everyone come here." And we watched as Chris showed us how to do a deliverance. Well, I would say 37 people watched. No, 36, 35 people watched. 35 people watched, and then there was me. And I want to be honest, and I was in the back just going, "Lord, please don't let there be anything in me that comes. I just don't need that right now, Lord. I don't need that." And it's funny, but I was just a scared kid. My most impactful day, I'll tell you about that. My most impactful day in school. I remember again after worship, the Lord would move, and He would move on the hearts of 36 students. And I remember this one amazing student who was with us after worship got up and said, "I just need to confess. I just need to tell you what I've been going through. I need to share with you everything that I've been struggling with. I just need freedom." And they shared everything, and 36 of us gathered around and, gave them a hug and said, "It's okay," and as you would expect in a school like that. And then another person took the mic and said, "I need to confess too." They got done, and Then another person grabbed the mic. We were about 6 people in, and I had this feeling deep in my soul. I think everyone's gonna go. Everyone's gonna confess their stuff today. And I quickly counted the number of students we had left and the number of minutes we had left in school, and I realized, we had more than enough time for everyone in school to confess all of their secrets to everybody. And again, 35 students shared, and 35 students turned around when they were done and looked at me. And I thought, well, I can't, you can't not share, Yeah, there's a bit of pressure. So I took the microphone and I walked up to the front in a room that's actually no longer there. And I walked up to the front, and in the moment I said, I'm just struggling. I'm just struggling with pride, with arrogance. I just want to confess to you guys, it's been tough. And the class was amazing, and they were kind, and they were wonderful. And I got through it, and I went home, and I breathed a sigh of relief on my way home, and I thought, I made it. And if you don't know what happens when I got home from school, every day I'd go either to my house, or I was hanging out with Brian at the time and the Johnson family, and I'd go to their house, and I would sit on the couch, and I would say, Lord, please don't make me go back to that school tomorrow. And every day I'd get up and I'd go again. But I remember going home thinking, I dodged a bullet. This is awesome. And the very next day, I got a note. This is how they got you back then. I got a note, and the note slid over, and it said, Chris wants to see you. Yeah. And everyone now is like, oh, Papa Chris. We did not call him that. I'll tell you that much. The prophet wants to see you, So I made my way down to his office, and he's like, hey, come on in. Super kind. Hey, come on in. So I sat down. He goes, wow, yesterday was amazing. And I was like, yesterday was amazing. So good. Just the freedom that we all experienced in the room, what the Lord did, man, woo, life-changing, woo. Oh, I was just unbelievable. And he said, yeah, I saw that. Was that good for you? And I was like, so good for this, just good. So amazing, And Chris, I remember Chris looked at me. I was 20. And Chris looked at me and said, how does it feel to be a liar? How does that feel? Said it was, you guys are all laughing at my pain. Listen, I said it felt good up until right now. And he was very kind, and he said, hey, I will remember this as long as I live. He said, hey, you know that opaque glass, like in your shower, you can see the silhouette of somebody, but you can't see all of them? I said, yeah. He said, that's you in school. He said, that's you. And the Lord's looking for all of you. And how free you get is completely up to you. And you can do what you did yesterday, or you can be honest. And you can do what God actually asked you to come to this school for. You can do that. Your decision. We love you. Don't lie in my school. I said, I won't. He said, okay, you can go. And I went back to class, and 35 people went, you're still alive. And I went, barely. I'm barely alive. And I spent the rest of that year trying to figure out, okay, what does it look like? And I remember the next day, we had little we didn't have a revival group. We were a revival group. It was one group. And I remember I had to go reconfess all my stuff. And it would have been easier if I'd just done it that day, the first day. But day 2, it still works, And I look back on school that you're going to hear phenomenal stories of the Lord meeting people. I went through a year of I don't want to be here and a year of really hard. And I graduated barely. And I remember the Lord said, hey, how about year 2? And I said, you got to be kidding me. And I did year 2. Here's what I want to tell everyone here about school. It was the hardest 2 years, I think. 2 of the hardest years of my life. It required a yes every single day. That is true. There wasn't one yes. It was a daily yes. And I love when the Lord meets us, and we kind of joke around in school now, and it's like, I'm just soaking with Jesus. I'm like, I hope that's fun for you. That's awesome. And that's not a disrespectful thing. That is true. I hope we sit in his presence and we love, and listen, I have fond memories of school. But my yes required me to actually take up my cross. My yes required him to be the potter and for me to be the clay. My yes required me to actually learn what it was like to be a child of God. Listen, I want to be a friend of God. I want to do all those things, but a child requires discipline. A child requires shaping. A child requires a mom and a dad who don't just go, you're amazing all the time, but who actually work to shape you. And I spent 2 years at school being shaped by the Lord and by the staff that the Lord put in that school. And it was the 2 hardest, most amazing years of my life. And I get to stand here today and lead what I lead. And I do say this to all the students that come through school, and I mean it with my whole heart. If you would rank, who's the Lord going to use? Now, I know he can use anybody, but I went to school with Brian Johnson. Prophets would come, and he'd get a prophetic word every 3 days. Brian got a prophetic word. I went to school with Mark Brooks. We got out of first year, and they told Mark, you should run. You should lead the school. That's how amazing he was. I got done with first year, and they said, make sure you go to second year. You really need second year. It is vital that you continue this journey you started. You're not done yet. You're not done. He just breakthrough just happened. Continue. And I am honest when I say this. I think school is an amazing environment, and what it requires your continual yes. It requires you to be shaped by him. And we do say this, or I say this to students, and I believe it. If God can do that in me, he can do it in anybody. Doesn't matter how hurt, how broken, how scared, how afraid, how challenged. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that you show up every day and you say, Lord, do what you want in my life. Do what you want in my life. And partnership with him is beautiful. It's amazing. And what it produces is amazing. And I will tell you that this school, BSSM, I think, produces the best fruit in people's lives. The best fruit. Taste and see that he is good. You can do that in school. You can. Amen. Amen.